All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
Thank you, home in Wisconsin, in the chat. We missed you yesterday. I missed you too. For some of you wondering what happened, in case you missed the show the day before, an opportunity came up. The boss, when I talk about the boss, I'm talking about President Trump. President Trump went to the New York Knicks game. An opportunity came up to attend. So I'm going to explain, why I went and why it mattered and what it was like actually being there. Because again, the media, Trump was booed mercilessly. Jasmine, mercilessly. It was merciless. He'd talk all the shit you want. I was there. So I'm going to tell you what happened and why it was really important that I do this. And it happened just kind of last minute. So that's why there was no show yesterday. I had said something on the Monday show, but it was quick. Also, there'll be no show this Monday. I have an event to go to. So this coming Monday, there'll be no show. Nothing happened. I'm fine, folks. It's not, I saw a bunch of people sending me, are you okay? Everything's good. I really deeply care about you all as well. And the fact that my health matters. So it has nothing to do with health at all. I promise you. I would tell you. My life is pretty much an open book. And pretty profound story released this morning by the New York Times, John Swan, about the whole Epstein saga. So I saw it this morning like you did. If you're interested at all in that, you will see that all the people, again, who lied to you about what I did and what the FBI did, all the people lied to you are now going to be made fools of yet again. As now what, guys? The fourth or fifth outlet that's no huge fan of mine confirms the fact that everything I told you about it was true and my efforts in it. So you can read that on your own time, or you can listen to comedians lose their mind and shit their diapers all the time. It's up to you. Again, these people don't even like me, and they've been forced to tell the truth. So now history's recorded it, and there you go. But I got a lot to get to. In the beginning of the show is going to be a banger. I'm going to cover that. Quickly, what happened with the Iranian schizophrenics on the left. They don't know what to do. Trump negotiates. They hate him. Trump unleashes the dogs of war. They hate him. They don't know what to do. And then finally, what happened last night in Maine is just, I say a shocker, not because Plattner won. When I put in the title, I don't mean it's shocking that he won. A lot of people were like, hey, he was expected to win, Dan. You didn't know that? That's not the point. The point is that what we call the Democrat Party right now is now completely, totally lost. There will be no saving them. I can't say this enough. This is, in the Reagan words, this is a time for choosing, man. All right, big show. Stay tuned. Hey, getting prescription meds shouldn't be complicated. I just called them last night. By the way, I'm going on a trip. And I need on a boat, and I need a travel pack. Allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10 for 10% off. Get your meds delivered to your door. Prescription provided if appropriate. Again, allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Today's show also brought to you by my favorite cell phone service. They have rescued me many times in dead zones with other services. Patriot Mobile. Get them today. The momentum's back in the country. Many of us are fighting to restore common sense and America first, but we've seen this before. Conservatives, sometimes we get comfortable. Left starts taking back ground inch by inch. We cannot let that happen, not on our watch. America needs every one of us in the fight. And a big part of that means supporting companies that support us and don't work against us. Unfortunately, there's a lot of that. Now with Patriot Mobile, they're the good guys. Patriot Mobile gives you premium, priority, nationwide service on any of the three major U.S. networks, so you can get the coverage you need, plus unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, and a 100% U.S.-based customer support team that we all love, especially Guy. Milton's this guy, right, Guy? Switching is easy. Keep your phone, keep your number, and activate in just minutes. Paula activated both our phones in under 5 minutes. Patriot Mobile is so much more than a great wireless service. They supported a growing movement of Americans defending faith, family, freedom, and the future of this country by donating millions every year to organizations fighting for our freedom. So go today to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Use promo code Dan for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT and make that switch today. Thank you, Patriot Mobile. Let's go. So first, yes, I was off yesterday. I missed you guys too. It's not the same without you. It just isn't. You're my big morning cup of coffee. In addition to blackout, you're the figurative cup of coffee I drink every morning. My life is like kind of empty without you guys in it in the morning, especially now that I get to focus all my energies on the podcast and the chat, this big interactive call center we have in the show every morning. It's like a family. So I got the opportunity to go and attend the first New York Knicks finals game in, 27 years or something? Since 99, 27 years. It's been a long time. Now, listen, I have my obvious problems with a lot of the messaging coming out of the NBA, and there've been a lot of things going on. But when I heard the president was going, I said, this is why it was so last minute. I was not going to go. And then I heard that, and I said, I want to go. I need to see this for myself. And let me explain to you a couple of reasons why. Number one, if you grew up in New York like I did in the 80s, I was born in 1974, Flushing Hospital, grew up between Long Island and Queens, moved back to Queens when I was a very young kid. So I'm a five boroughs guy, and my parents have been New Yorkers. My mother grew up in Glendale, my father in Jackson Heights, Queens, which is the area AOC has. Who cares about my biography? That's not the point. The point is, if you grew up in New York in the 80s, the Knicks were terrible. The Knicks were the worst team probably in the history of sports in like 1984, 85, before Patrick Ewing and after Bernard King got hurt. I used to go to the Garden with the guy who lived upstairs from me. His name was Frank, and his wife's name was Denise. We lived in a two-family home. We had the ground floor. Frank and Denise lived upstairs. Frank worked for the Long Island Railroad. He's a great guy. I'm not going to say his last name, but he was a diehard Knicks fan. I think he had season tickets, but season tickets for the Knicks in 1984 and 85, they were like negative money. It's like you had to like give people money. No one went to the Garden. The Knicks sucked so bad. It was like, Justin, it was like you had to give people money if you had season tickets. Please take my tickets. Please. No one wanted them. So we would go to the Garden, and his season tickets were in nosebleeds or whatever, and we would just walk down to the front row and like sit in the front row and watch Rory Sparrow, Trent Tucker. You may be ringing it, but they were so bad. I think they won 20 games in 2 seasons in the 80s. So he sucked so bad. Now, 1999 is right before I met Paula. It's when my whole life started with the Secret Service. I got on in 1999, and that was the last time they were in the finals, so it's been a drought. So when you grew up with the Knicks, to see New York, I wanted to see what it was like. And I'm going to tell you, depressingly, although the arena was electric, and I'll get to the boo stuff in a minute, but I was very disappointed outside. The city is, I haven't been back in a little bit. The city's just a mess again. Outside, this happened. There were a bunch of fights. We leave after, thankfully, I had a security team with me. We need it when we travel. I wish we didn't, but we do for a lot of reasons. Some of you I've addressed this with. I just don't like to talk about it much. We're walking out, and I saw a cop. So when you're a cop, they call it hats and bats, riot helmets and your nightsticks. They were running all over the place. There were a lot of fights that broke out. I don't want to exaggerate or be hyperbolic, but there were a lot of fights that broke out. And what happened to these San Antonio fans is just disgusting and absolutely disgraceful. You know, I love Texas. Texas, you're my crew out there too. I grew up in New York. I'll always be, kind of born in New York. I'm a Floridian now, and I'm proud of that. But listen, man, what happened to these San Antonio fans was just disgusting, and I really think the NBA needs to address this. This is just gross. I'm going to say on the inside, it was not like that at all. There were a lot of San Antonio fans there, and there was some heckling that goes on. It's freaking New York, shit. You go to New York, it's like New York and Philly. You're gonna get some hecklers, but it wasn't anything like violent. Outside was just total chaos. We were walking down the street, the security guy was like, "Oh, go this way, go that way," because the cops were just running everywhere. It's just shameful. It's just disgusting. And whoever did that, this crew of people, you're just freaking little demon savage animals. And it's really gross. And it just contributes to this sense of chaos in the city to pull off bullshit like that. I want to address the booing thing too, because again, I was there, and I'm not going to put lipstick on anything, folks. I'm going to tell you. So President Trump was there, and then they had teased up that they were going to like put him on the the big screens on the top in the middle. And everybody was screaming USA, USA. I think what happened is I saw this kind of emanate from the lower deck, okay? The lower deck is where all like the really rich people were. The tickets were a lot. But the lower deck was ridiculous. It was like $50,000 a ticket. Front row was like $300,000. It was obscene. Like it was so much. So you had to have a lot of money to be down there. The crowd was chanting USA loud, by the way, really loud. I wish I had video of it. I just was like so in the moment, because President Trump was sitting right across from me. Like I could stare at him in the booth, right? And then they put him up on the screen. And from the lower deck, where the non-working class people were, and there were some season ticket holders, everybody thinks, it was only rich people. It wasn't. A lot of season ticket holders there. were there and were regular. You could see it on the screen. You had, guys who looked like me with tattoos and, hats on backwards and stuff, right? A lot of the booing that started was from the lower deck. And then about 5-10 seconds of that, you heard the crowd start to cheer again. So no, it wasn't like merciless boo. It's all bullshit. It was a bunch of I think pissed off New York rich liberal Karens who didn't like the fact that the president, who's been a Knicks fan his whole life, went to the game. It was all bullshit. This guy, if you grew up in New York, which I did, I didn't grow up far. Me and President Trump have one big thing in common. It's not our last name. It's not our hairline. It's not our lineage. It's we both grew up in Queens. I didn't grow up that far from him. President Trump has been a Knicks fan his whole life. Now, who cares? Why was this important with everything going on? Because it's just more of an epidemic of media bullshit that President Trump somehow was not. It's just nonsense. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. This is the Democrat minority leader who knows nothing about New York, despite claiming to be a New Yorker. Nothing. This guy's the most elite, out-of-touch loser you ever met, claiming like Donald Trump was never a Knicks fan, doesn't know anything about basketball. If you grew up in New York, you know that's bullshit. The guy was a fixture at the Garden. Check this out.
But it also is not clear to me that Donald Trump is a big Knicks fan. I mean, does this guy even know the difference between Karl Rove and Karl Anthony Towns? I don't think so.
And Trump, I've been with the league for a long time. I ran NBA Entertainment years ago. He did an I Love Kids game spot with us. He was a fixture at NBA at Madison Square Garden. You guys remember, well, all of you, when you played here, not Draymond, but back in the old days, he had courtside seats. He was here all the time. He was at drafts, so he's a genuine Knicks fan.
Folks, listen, man, I'm not here to... The Dan Bongino Show is not a monarchy. There's no crown on my head. I'm not Henry V. I'm not giving a Crispin's Day speech. Okay. I'm just telling you, as a guy who grew up in New York, who gave you a fair perspective on, there was some knuckleheads booing. And in the beginning it was loud. And then it wasn't. After the USA chant, okay? I'm here to give you the truth. If you grew up in New York, this guy, Hakeem Jeffries, just humiliated himself. There's video footage of President Trump at the Garden for years. Whatever, man. Again, it's not who cares about this. It's not about basketball. There's serious stuff going on. This is serious stuff because I'm just telling you. You can, there you go. 1991, right? When Knicks were finally recovering a little bit. That was like the Pat Riley, Rick Pitino days after Hubie Brown. Listen, I was a New York cat growing up. I'm just telling you, the guy was there all the time. I grew up with Donald Trump. There were three figures in my life I remember growing up who were ubiquitous in the New York media before there was Fox News and everything else. Rudy Giuliani, Al Sharpton, and Donald Trump. Donald Trump about business, Rudy Giuliani because he cleaned up the city after Mayor Ed Koch, and Al Sharpton because he was always a clown, showing up, talking shit. He was on TV all the time. Don't tell me about New York. Don't tell me about New York. And the NBA really should address that. That was really shameful. All right. All right. Moving on, because this happened yesterday too. Iran's getting hot again. Yes, we are now a couple months into it. Yes, President Trump has given them multiple opportunities to just make a freaking deal. The death to America mullahocracy, most of whom have been wiped out. The new, the gay Ayatollah now nobody's seen. They can't seem to get their heads out of their asses. They have a death wish, which is not surprising. So President Trump put out this True Social post. The reason I'm covering this again, right after the NBA story and the bullshit story about Trump not being a Knicks fan, it's just endless bullshit and lies. All I'm asking people in the media and left-wingers who are critics of President Trump, I'm just asking you this. I can't tell you, nor would I want to, what position you should have. You have your own cerebral cortex, medulla oblongata, and cerebellum. You can think of it yourself. I'm just asking you, can you at least be consistent? What is it? Are you upset that Donald Trump has given the Iranians multiple opportunities, which has extended the timeline to negotiate? Because when he negotiates, you accuse him of Trump chickening out. But then when he takes kinetic action and there are airstrikes on Iran, which turn out to be devastating each time, then you complain that it's an illegal, unnecessary war of choice against nuclear weapons seeking death to America people. I'm just asking this. It's all I'm asking. Can you please just stake out a position and say what it is? The only reason I say it is because it's hard for me to run a show and debate you when I don't know what I'm debating because you don't know what you're debating. You're pissed off he's negotiating and it's extended the timeline. And you're pissed off he takes kinetic action when the negotiations don't work out. What the fuck is it, man? Just stake a position. That's all I ask. You can tell me I'm wrong. At least I have a position. My position is clear. I do want it to wrap up. It's pretty clear. The inflation number came in a little hot today, 4.2. I do want it to wrap up. However, what I want first is to get rid of this death to America tyrannical regime that unquestionably, based on my experience, was seeking to acquire a weapon they will use in the United States. And the can cannot be kicked down the road anymore. That's why argue against it. That's cool. There are friends of mine in the podcast space on the conservative side who don't like my position. That's cool. We're not friends anymore. We're friends. I respect your position, but at least you have one. The left-wing media is all over the place on this. And then this happened last night. This has been a crazy night. You can see why I'd been dying to get back on the air. Plattner, this freaking lunatic, wins the primary for the United States Senate in the state of Maine, 72% to Janet Mills, 17%. Folks, this is insanity. I cannot, I really can. It's hard for me to articulate how dangerous of a spot we are in right now with this Democrat Party. Folks, I feel like we're back in the 40s and like red lights are flashing everywhere and everyone's ignoring them. I feel like, Austria and Poland and others are like, oh, that guy will go away with the mustache. And I feel like this is just insanity. You've got a guy running up there who's a devout communist with a freaking Nazi tattoo on his chest. The media keeps saying it resembles a Nazi tattoo. That's because it was a Nazi tattoo. He just won the primary by well over, 50 points. I don't understand how like bells and whistles aren't going off. You may say, oh, well, he's not one of us. He's a Democrat. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got news for you. He's not one of us partisan-wise. He is a United States citizen running for office, therefore is part of this country and just won a primary by 50 points in a state not far from the live free or die state. Live free or die, they're picking death. Live free or die state, not too far from there. They're picking, no, we'd rather die. Everything this guy subscribes to, communism and National Socialism, as otherwise known as the Nazi Party, has resulted in death, torture, destruction, and starvation, and global near annihilation. If the Germans would have had a nuclear weapon before us, the Nazi Party, I promised Hitler would have used it. This is just like the Iranians will use it now. This is not ideological, it's fanatical. There's a difference. Nancy Mace lost last night in South Carolina to, I don't know if it was 4th or 5th place, but in the governor's race. So that was also big news today. However, on Plattner, did you guys see this video? This emerged. This is a Wall Street Journal interview with these two activists. I think they're connected to Bernie Sanders or that movement, talking about how they picked Plattner. The video is ridiculous. Number one, everybody's laughing at them, the people, because of the vocal fry. You know vocal fry? Vocal fry is it's frequently associated with Kim Kardashian. When people like they lengthen out their words at the end with this affect to kind of sound, I think, more intelligent than they are. It's probably the most annoying thing people can do when they speak, vocal fry. This guy has the worst case of it I've ever seen. But for a minute, try to as you're laughing at the vocal fry, it's not funny. These people picked this guy, Nazi tattoo-bearing communist, right? Two sick, fanatical thoughts that have killed and murdered hundreds of millions of people. They picked this guy. And then when they're asked about the vetting process, they mysteriously missed the Nazi tattoo on the guy's chest story? All the other stuff that's come out about him? His posts about communism? Folks, this party, the Democrats, they're not savable. I'm not telling you the Republicans are the solution to all your problems, but I'm telling you the cause of all your problems and the death and destruction that's going to result if we don't course correct quick is going to be due to the Democrats. Check this ridiculous interview out. Please try the vocal fry. Try to get over. It's really bad. It's worse than the Kardashians. Check this out.
At this point, you hadn't vetted Graham Plattner. You hadn't done a full scrub of who he is. How did you go about vetting him? And why did you?
We paid a nice firm a whole chunk of money and got some stuff back. Some of what you've seen on the news we got back. Other stuff we didn't.
Did the vetting process turn up the tattoo that became so controversial?
No.
The Reddit posts, did that turn up in the vetting process?
The firm sent us a thing, and it had some of the posts, but it didn't have all of them.
And what did you think about that? How did you think your way through the fact that he had posted these things on social media?
I said none of this will or should stop him from becoming a U.S. Senator.
And what was your thinking there?
Agree. I think if what the voters wanted were people who were grown in vats and had never done or said anything that they might regret their entire lives, we'd have a very different country. Part of our thesis here is that people do not want their candidates grown in vats. They want people who are real human beings, and they want people who do not look and sound like the vat-grown people who've been leading this country off a cliff for the last century. And that was Graham.
Just days after this interview, more details about Plattner's past emerged.
Everybody in the chats, but I told you can't stop with the vote. It's almost impossible to isolate out the vocal fry. This guy's just ridiculous means of delivering his message from the messages. The messages, it really didn't matter. Folks, there is nobody coming to save the Democrat Party. If you're hoping there's like a Rahm Emanuel, Bill Clinton type around the corner, some moderate type to come out and rescue the Democrats, it's not going to happen. You have two choices right now. A flawed party, but I think in the end, a party with a pretty good number of W's in the Republican Party that overwhelms some of the L's, and we can fix it, versus the Nazi communists. That's your choice. I wish it weren't your choice. That's it. The chat is just going crazy on this. Folks, it's bad, but this is a time for choosing. This is a time for choosing. I need you to tattoo that on your brain, man. This is a time for choosing. This is no time. This is no time for, Mobb Deep used to say in New York, for halfway crooks. You got to get all the way in, man. Don't dip your toes in the water. Our future's not going to be fixed by, as Reagan said, people who think there's going to be pastels here. It's going to be bright color differences. And if you don't see them like a fucking neon sign, man, we're in a lot of trouble. We're working on fixing up our own process, but that process is dead. They've made their choice. Contrast. Time for choosing is now. These midterms are critical. Let me take a quick break and I'll show you what else we're dealing with. Another clip that went viral last week. Speaking of Kim Kardashian, I think she was dating this guy, but this came up again too. We are in a really, really critical time. Everybody. They say, man, batten down those hatches, buckle up and get ready. This is going to be some ride till November. Hey, you know my health history. I won't mess with supplements unless it's helping my body. Every day, Paula and I, we've been taking collagen for years. I swear by it. I use it for a lot of things, but especially my osteoarthritis. I am an absolute advocate for collagen. I take it in everything I can, everything from coffee to water to morning to night. I love it. Paula takes it. Paula's mother takes it for skin and wrinkles. Collagen's a protein that helps hold your body together. It's absolutely critical. After 30, often our bodies lose 1% to 2% of collagen every year. It's how you get those wrinkles. It's why your joints start to hurt. But here's how collagen has been helping me and my family. I've got bad elbows, shoulders, and knees. Collagen is fantastic for helping me with that joint stiffness and mobility. I swear by it. Also helps support muscles, especially if you exercise. It's great for helping with bone density. I recommend it to everyone. Paula will tell you how great it is for her skin. Just look at her picture. You'll see it. And hair as well. I got you over 45% off. That's a lot. Free shipping and a 365-day money-back guarantee. You can't beat that. If you don't feel a difference in your health, to get your money back, no questions asked. All right, well, how do I get it? Go to Native Path. The website is getnativepath.com/Dan. Pick up collagen today. It's a huge guarantee on the product they have there. That's getnativepath.com/Dan. Getnativepath.com/Dan. Great product. These statements of products have not been evaluated by the FDA. Is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or condition. Consult with a healthcare professional. Thanks, Native Path. Today's show also brought to you by our old friend Relief Band. Folks, when I was going through chemo, I was very nauseous all the time, even with the anti-nausea drugs. So I found Relief Band. Now that I go out on a boat a lot, I love the water. It's very relaxing. I don't go out without Relief Band. Travel days, boat rides, even a rough morning after, nausea can turn a good moment into a miserable one fast. That's why I love Relief Band. I haven't tried it. I've been using it forever. I tried it a long time ago. Relief Band is a natural, 100% drug-free solution you wear on your wrist. It's clinically proven to stop nausea fast and works before or after symptoms start. And it works quick. For me, it's like that. Whether it's motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, or even GLP-1 side effects, it's designed to handle it. Relief Band. Here's what makes it different. It's not a pill. It sends a gentle signal through your skin that interrupts the nausea response at the source. It works. There are zero side effects. It works in minutes. I used it regularly when I was going through all those treatments. It was fantastic. It was my go-to. I lost one. I had to have him send me another one time. Are you ready to solve your nausea problems once and for all? Join the hundreds of thousands of people who made Relief Band part of their life. Right now, we have an exclusive offer just for Dan Bongino Show listeners. If you go to reliefband.com and use promo code Bongino, you'll receive 20% off. It's a big savings plus free shipping. Head on over to Reliefband, RELIEFBAND, reliefband.com. Use promo code Bongino for 20% off plus free shipping. Check it out. Have one on your wrist for the summer. You're gonna need it. Check it out. Reliefband.com. Thank you, Relief Band. Okay, back to the show. Folks, it's a time for choosing. This clip went viral last week, and the only reason I inject it in is we're in the middle of an economic war here too. Folks, if people like Graham Plattner win, it's not just the Nazi tattoo and the fact that I'm worried about the Democrats running candidates who want to put people who, fight against anti-Semitism in camps like that lady in Texas. Was it Galindo? The party's full of lunatics. You have a business. You have to support your family. And I always think back to the Carville line. It's the economy, stupid. You want people like this in there? And their Hollywood celebrity supporters. This clip went viral. It's from 2023, but it went nuclear again last week because it's just so, there's an epidemic of this amongst these rich Karens out there, the ones I saw in the front row who started booing President Trump, who they just can't get around the idea that you're a bunch of fakes and phonies who don't stand for nothing. You ever hear that old line? If you believe in nothing, you'll fall for anything. These leftists fall for this shit all the time. Here is IndyCar driver Lewis Hamilton? I don't know if he was dating the Kardashian or what. Who cares? The point is, here he is out there talking about these rich people, how they should give back more. The only reason this is interesting and went viral is because of where Lewis Hamilton lives. This is the modern left. Frauds and phonies. You may not like the right, but at least we stand for something. On the Iran war, something else. At least I have a position you can debate. Check this clip out.
One of the things that I struggle with every day is, and it's just how life is, and it's been the way for thousands of years, that there is such a disparity between wealthy and the poor. And, you still, when you drive around LA, there's still so many people living on the streets. You shouldn't be able to have billions, right? I think there should be a limit to how much you can have because there's enough to go around to everyone. So somehow creating a law that creates more equality. Yeah, and equal access for everyone, I don't know how that you would implement that law.
That's all good.
But geez, man, I've met kids that are starving.
Yeah, same.
And you think, oh God, how are we are so lucky, so many of us. And knowing that and not taking advantage of your everyday is so important.
F1 guy. Just give your money away, bro. Nobody's stopping you. Do you know how many working class people who are finally starting to get a little cushion despite, what can be at times trying economic times, are so tired of your bullshit, just give it away, bro. Pull up ChatGPT. This is why this clip was so controversial. This is the Graham Plattner class, by the way, whose mama, I think, was his only big client for his oyster farm. So where does Lewis Hamilton live? Because he's talking about LA, run by Democrats, by the way, how there's so much disparity, how, in LA, we can figure this all out if we just give away our money. We're just asking. It's ChatGPT, right? Lewis Hamilton lives in Monaco for several reasons. The biggest, tax advantages. Lewis, is that true or not? You just live there because you love the scenery? I don't know. If you just give your money back then. I'm giving you the opportunity. Come on the show. Tell us why. Meanwhile, folks, spending in these blue cities like LA, which he's citing for its disparity, no one wants poor people. I don't want people to be poor. I want people to all be rich and wealthy. That's why I love capitalism. Nothing lifts the poor up more quickly than does free markets and capitalism. Meanwhile, we're spending all this money, and people who are going to get screwed are getting screwed by the government. You can give your money away. They don't. The government just takes it. Put up that Wall Street Journal article last week. Folks, listen to me. Every time I bring this up, I get my ass kicked in the chat. But I'm going to take a stand that may be unpopular. This is not me being anybody's martyr. I'm just trying to warn you and tell you the truth, just like I told you the truth in my last job, and it made a lot of people uncomfortable. Folks, we are going broke. Social Security and Medicare are going broke. I know you paid money in. I understand it. I'm not faulting you. I'm just telling you that they are fighting against these leftists, by the way. I'm not talking about Hamilton. I'm talking about the leftist Karens out there. Fighting against AI, data centers, all that stuff that will bring us, hopefully, enough productivity. Without it, even the Wall Street Journal started to acknowledge, without the productivity boom from AI that other countries are already jumping on, there is no way to save these programs you paid into. None. So the leftists that swear about, Social Security and Medicare are so wonderful, they're going bankrupt. It's a fact. And then we hate AI and data centers, and it's the only thing that can save them. Look at this. This just popped the other day. Social Security, upon reserves and their depletion in 2034, projected income to you is only sufficient to pay 83% of scheduled Social Security benefits. It declines gradually to 65% by 2100. It's going broke. It's not my opinion. I'm just telling you. The government took your money and pitched it down a toilet bowl. It cites Medicare going broke too, but it brings this interesting point up in here. All these people like Graham Plattner and others, Nazi tattoo communist guy. We need national government-run healthcare. They have it in the UK right now. It's called the NHS, National Health Service. Well, what's going on over there? This is in the same article. Freeman says in the piece, hey, you tempted to go the national route? Let's get government-run healthcare? Okay. The UK's got such a rationing problem right now with the NHS. Look at this number. More than 300 patients are dying. What does that say? Every decade, Justin? Justin's like, no, my phone works. That says every week as a result of long delays in the A&E departments or emergency departments or reporters. 300 people are dying a week. 15,860 avoidable deaths associated with long waiting times in 2025. You want that here? You want that here? You want the rationing here? At least right now, you can go to an urgent care, an emergency room. You're probably going to wait in some of these places. But are 300 people dying every single week due to ration? I thought the government-run solution was the best way out. And then they tried more of this economic warfare in the state of Washington. State of Washington full of just liberal-dominated zeros and losers. Seattle being like ground zero for crazy. So they decided to try for the umpteenth time a millionaire's tax. And now what's happening? You can read it yourself. Here's Freeman again. Is Washington's millionaire tax already failing? The answer is yes, and it's brand new. All of their billionaires and millionaires are trying to leave. Folks, this stuff never works, man. This is a time for choosing. Do you want communism, socialism, and Nazism to take a foothold in the United States? The future is not going to belong to people who believe in, as Reagan said, these pastel differences, folks. You're either going to highlight that neon sign between both of our movements or we're all going to fail together. And by failing, I mean it's going to be ugly. We all have to collectively use our social media platforms, our phones, our email systems to fight back. This election is critical. We cannot lose. Folks, you got on the other side too. It's not just economic warfare. It's not just fanatical, ideological craziness on the other side. This is also a war for election integrity too. It's now gotten so bad in California that still can't freaking figure it. They barely got to it today. They barely got to it. Looks like Spencer Pratt, this poor guy, can't even imagine. After all this bullshit ballot harvesting, and the left is freaking out because now even people on the left, I saw Ro Khanna, that ridiculous hypocrite fraud, left-wing, anti-free speech congressman out there in California. Ro Khanna wrote, constituents are coming up to me saying that Spencer Pratt was robbed. Of course they're saying that. You can't even count freaking votes in an election. It's like the freaking third world here. Look at this media report on California's ridiculous voting rules. WSJ piece. Is California's election rigged? Folks, you want to laugh? And I mean laugh and cry like at the same time. An ID isn't strictly required to register to vote in California, but number one. Here's what the state lists as ID, by the way, if you need it. The state lists a gym card, drug prescription, even a sample ballot as acceptable forms of ID. By the way, federal prosecutors last month indicted a California woman for paying homeless people on Skid Row to register using her former address, meaning ballots would be sent there. One woman was even locked up for registering her dog. Oh, you have that. A woman from Orange County, California, was charged last fall with illegally registering her dog, like Lucy's voting now, to vote and submit, was it a paw print, like Marmaduke on her, and submitting ballots on the canine's behalf. Now, Justin, in a limited circle of people, all of these federal arrests for fraud, voter fraud, registering your dog, registering homeless people on Skid Row, the Minnesota arrest for financial fraud against the government, we would call that what? Yes, evidence. Correct, Justin. We would call that evidence. We would call that a source. The source of evidence being the actual arrests and people in court. Oh, you found a Ro Khanna tweet. This wasn't even in the show. There it is, in case you think I'm making this up. Even anti-free speech, liberal, communist Ro Khanna's like, hey, man, we got to figure out how to count the freaking votes in California. You want these people elected at the national level? Every election will be like this. There'll be chaos. I want you to watch these people talk about crash outs. You want to see a crash out? Charles Blow is one of the biggest tools you will ever meet in opinion journalism. He's not just a loudmouth. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a moron. He's like a straight up imbecile. I've had some dealings with this guy in the past. Some of these guys are really smart when you talk to them, and they're just, I think, wrong. But I respect it, whatever. Not this guy. This guy's an absolute tool. He claims to be like a wealth-based, fact-based, source-based opinion journalist. Yet he confronts and crashes out on CNN like an absolute raging lunatic when the idea of like massive fraud against the government, voter fraud, which I just showed you the evidence, reporting on it, DOJ releases, you've seen it. Told him, where's your source? It's interesting though, because I can produce to you another source from a place Charles Blow knows very well. But watch this meltdown first. This is just class. This is what happens when you confront liberal lunatics with facts. They go freaking bananas every time. Check this out.
Where's your proof? Where's your proof? I just cited my source. What is your source?
I got a question.
I just cited, no, because I don't want to. I want to know what your source is.
You said
what is your source? Mine is the Heritage Foundation.
Do you think there's no H-1B visa?
Where is your source?
Do you think there's no Medicare fraud?
You don't have any source.
There's no home health care fraud?
Can you let me finish? You are not saying a source.
Guys.
You are not saying a source.
There's fraud all over the federal government. There's fraud all over the states.
Where is your source?
And yet there's no voter fraud?
Are you kidding me? The idea that you're sitting here trying to convince us based on no source whatsoever to trust your word and trust the president's word when we know he is lying. And I want to know if you think that was the real. I don't know if we're sitting here with two election deniers.
Just a second.
Do you think it's rigged as well?
I just showed you a source. These people have been arrested. Dog register, Skid Row, homeless person registered. Did you see, was it the O'Keefe media and the Cam Higby videos? I don't care if you like these guys or not. You can go watch the videos yourself. Liberals love to do this, by the way. They love to say, what is your source? And then when you cite the source, they just come back and say, well, I don't like that source. So you don't really care about my source. You just care about being a bullshit artist and ignoring what's kicking you right in the balls, that epidemic voter fraud and financial fraud against the government, either attempts or in reality, are very real and on the left. Charles Blow wants a source. Charles, let me help you out. You're clearly not that bright. Give me his resume for a minute. Where did Charles Blow work? Because this part is really fascinating. What is Charles Blow, political commentator? Let's see, Charles Blow. Let's help him. Charles, I'm helping you. Consider this like your struggle session. I'm helping you unstruggle. Oh, look at that. Oh, worked at the joined the New York Times. Oh, back at the New York Times. Began writing opinion for the New York Times. Why would that be important? Charles Blow, what is done? What is done, man? Spit coming out of his mouth, screaming like a lunatic. He's going to jump the guy. You worked at the New York Times, Charles. Maybe you could just throw in like the Google machine or whatever, the New York Times, error in voter fraud. That issue is absentee voting, right? That's in the New York Times. Error and fraud. They're talking about mail-in balloting. Adam Liptak, October 6th, 2012. Charles, hope this helps. Votes by mail are less likely to be counted, more likely to be compromised, and more likely to be contested than those cast in a voting booth. Statistics show. There's a source for it. There's even a name. There's a name. Who is it, Justin? The famous Mr. Sancho is back. We love Mr. Sancho. Someone's got to get a picture of Mr. Sancho. He says the votes you cast by mail, the more fraud you get. Mr. Sancho. That's a source, Charles. Let me show you how this is done. You used to work there. You still work? I don't even know. You still work? Folks, I want you to, having spent most of my adult life outside of political commentary in law enforcement, you can go and prove intent with circumstantial evidence. Most evidence you will find in a case is circumstantial, unless you get a confession or some video or something. Guy was at the bank at this time. Fingerprints showed up at the gun. The gun was left behind. The gun was recognized by the bank teller. The guy may never admit to it, but a lot of it's circumstantial evidence that builds a case beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm just asking you a question in the audience. If you're a leftist in the chat trolling away, you're welcome here. But I'm just asking you a simple question. When because your own New York Times reporters have said mail-in balloting has a real problem with fraud, when you have Adam Liptak, Lynn and Jeff to the Adam Liptak article to the rescue, you guys know, diehards, is there anything? If you have reporting, if you have Mr. Sancho, if you have statistics showing that the error and fraud rates are double for mail-in balloting, if you're arresting people for registering their dogs, if you've got a bunch of videos of people registering homeless people on Skid Row, if you go to the Heritage Foundation's library of evidence, Charles, of cases of voter fraud, why would you not want to implement voter integrity? The answer, if you took a logic class in college, is because you want to cheat. I know that's hard to hear, guys, but that's the only reason. We don't want to cheat. Let me just be on the record right now. I don't care if you're Ronald Reagan. I don't care. I don't care if you're George Washington, John Adams. I don't care if you're James K. Polk. Thank you for California, brother. I don't care. If you are out there on any political party, Federalists, Whigs, Communists, Democrats, Republicans, if you're a conservative and you want to cheat to win, I don't want you because it destroys the whole system and it's not right. Period.
It's a data point.
It's a data point. I promise you, if the Democrats found out voter fraud was benefiting Republicans in California, Ro Khanna would be out tomorrow calling to pass the Save America Act. Tomorrow. These people have no principles at all. Folks, it's a time for choosing. I can't say it enough. There will be no pastels. The future is not going to be saved by people sitting there with a picket fence up their ass right now, sitting on the fence. What do I do? Make a choice, man. So what? You may lose a few people in your audience who want to vote in the Nazi communist guy. Do you really want to be part of a dark, dystopian, totalitarian future and look your kids in the face and say, I sat back and did nothing because I had a picket fence freaking stuck up my ass? Make a choice, bro. It's not hard. You got a choice. Look at this lunatic up in New York who's cut from the same Graham Plattner communist freaking I hate the Jews mold. This freaking lunatic mayor in New York. I just went up there. I'm telling you, the city is nothing like I knew it growing up. Nothing. Don't tell me what it was like. I was there. I'm older than Mom Dami. What is Mom Dami, like 14? This guy doesn't know shit. He doesn't even remember pre-Giuliani New York. The place is just different now. The vibe is just off. It's not the same. It was a working class city outside of Manhattan. It's totally changed. You have a time coming up where you have to make a choice. Here's Mom Dami out there. We're back with the defund the police. They have learned nothing. I told you there is no saving them. Now he's back to not just the defund the police nonsense. We have to abolish ICE. You want the country to be invaded? No ICE, no border control at all? Terror attacks all over the place? People coming here with no vested interest in working or anything like that? People coming here not through points of entry, totally unvetted? Then listen to this lunatic. You. Don't wait for someone else. We all have to step up and get something done. You have to choose against this stuff in November. Check this out.
That ICE raids are cruel. They are inhumane. They do nothing to serve in the interest of public safety. I've shared that directly with the president. I've shared that in public. It is a feeling that many New Yorkers share. And I also do believe that ICE as an entity is one that should be abolished and that we should return to an immigration system that has more humanity.
M. Knox too. Yes, Dan. This is exactly what they want. Folks, you're the leaders we've been waiting for. Ginny Thomas used to tell me that all the time. You are the leaders we've been waiting for. There's a time for choosing. And if you ever saw just an epidemic of chaos on the left, it materialized yesterday up on Capitol Hill with this lunatic fringe crazy group, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, I'm not going to get into their criminal case. They have deserved their day in court like everyone else, and they deserve the presumption of innocence. Unlike a lot of people on one side of political aisle, I actually believe in the justice process. It'll work its way out. If they did nothing wrong, they've got an opportunity to maintain that presumption of innocence in a due process court trial. However, it was a hearing up on Capitol Hill that just, I think at one point, some of the answers that gave degenerated into total madness. I'm going to show you some clips. Let me get to my last break here. I'm going to show you some clips from this hearing yesterday, and one specifically where Pramila Jayapal engages in one of the craziest twofers I've ever seen. My two least favorite, and by least favorite, I mean most favorite, least favorite, Trump hoaxes of all time. She fits in, what, a 30-second clip? Amazing how they're still doing this, showing you again, you have a time to choose. You want lies or do you want stabilization and truth and reality? Last break, we'll get right back to it. Hey, in today's uncertain economy, American financing is helping families find a way out of the high interest trap. We're heading into summer, but the economic clouds aren't clearing for most middle-class families. Between persistent inflation and the cost of daily life, you're likely feeling the pressure. You've worked hard for your home and probably have more equity than you realize. Yet the summer surge is forcing many to rely on credit cards. It's an exhausting cycle, but American Financing understands that 2026 requires a real strategy. That's why they have salary-based mortgage consultants. With mortgage rates in the 5, their customers are saving an average of $800 a month by wiping out high-interest debt. That's a big savings with American Financing. That's money that stays in your pocket, stays in your wallet. American Financing is here to help you fight back against rising costs. No upfront fees. There's no pressure with American Financing. And if you start today, you could delay 2 mortgage payments. Call American Financing today. Here's the number, 888-994-7660. That's 888-994-7660. Or visit them online at americanfinancing.net/Bongino. Again, it's a .net address, americanfinancing.net/Bongino. Give them a shot. Check them out. They'd love to hear from you. Thanks, American Financing. And our last sponsor, hey, you know how many business, when you have a business, how many insurance brokers you got to talk to? It's ridiculous. It's a little overwhelming. Let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. A handshake, commission, done, they're done. You don't hear from them again until it's time for a renewal. That's not Super Sure. Your business runs all year, and so do all the gaps and the risks. That's why I'm introducing you to Super Sure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. Super Sure is the super agency built for you. Licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and for your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like Fine Point Facts, which translates it's really great, translates your current policy into plain English, so you can see what's covered and what's not, kind of important. Plus a business value calculator, so you can estimate what your business is worth, so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com/Bongino. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com/Bongino. That's supersure.com/Bongino. Consult with a licensed insurance producer. Discuss coverage options for your specific business needs. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Thank you, Supersure. Check them out. All right, I want to show you this first. So this happened yesterday. The SPLC has a new leader up there. He's up on Capitol Hill. He's going back and forth with Jim Jordan. He says something at the end of this exchange with Congressman Jim Jordan, who I'm a huge supporter of, that just draws audible gasps from the crowd. This is, and again, these are accusations in a court. They have the right in a court to refute. But the accusations that the SPLC was using donor money to go and fund hate groups they claim to be fighting against. Notice where the SPLC guy says a lot of these hate groups have migrated. Now, this is just, well, you listen for yourself. Check this out.
It says that these informants and field sources were encouraging other people to attend these hate rallies. Right. And I'm saying, okay, so you don't have to answer that specifically, but is that a good thing in general?
Again, all the allegations in the indictment,
do you wish,
Chairman Jordan,
okay,
will be addressed.
Do you wish you hadn't done the program? You said the program was successful, helpful, but now you're stopping it.
We stopped the program because we believe hate and extremism has migrated significantly online and into government agencies.
Wow, that's big. That makes no sense.
Ironically named Mr. Fair. You have names, Mr. Fair? You want to accuse someone directly? You hear the gasps? Folks, it's a time for choosing. We are at a really, really dangerous point in this beautiful, wonderful country's history. Ironically, around the 250th. The country's needs to be perpetually renewed and saved from the crazies. We're dealing with this now. And you want to see one of the lieutenants in the crazy, lunatic, fanatical army? Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal is a documented liar and fraud. I say documented because I'm going to produce documentary evidence right now that Pramila Jayapal is a fraud and a freaking liar. However, unbelievably, there are still liberals out there voting in Nazi tattoo communist guy who's going to destroy their lives, their freedom, and everything else because they really believe they are fighting the evil, fanatical Nazi President Trump who said there were fine people who were white supremacists. She did it again. Dan, I can't believe they're still doing this. Believe it. They don't care about the truth. This woman's a fraud. Jayapal, you are a fraud. I'm calling you a fraud. I'm going to prove you're a fraud. You are a lying freaking fraud, a disgrace to the United States Congress, a disgrace to your district. And it's because of people like you that lunatics show up at conservatives' doors and MAGA supporters and engage in violent rhetoric and all this other stuff because they really believe they're fighting against the guy who called white supremacists fine people. She didn't say it. Okay, she didn't say it. Here it is. Here's Pramila Jayapal with the great replacement theory hoax and the fine people hoax all in under a minute. Check this out.
In Trump's America, white supremacists at the Charlottesville rally are, quote, very fine people. Many of these individuals and groups espouse something called the great replacement theory, which argues that elites are trying to actively replace white Americans and Europeans with non-white immigrants. So, Professor McCord, is the great replacement theory an extreme and hateful fringe theory?
It is a fringe extreme theory, Congressmember. It is not something that is adhered to by the majority of the American public or even a large percentage.
And it's true, is it not, that the Great Replacement Theory has stimulated violent reactionary responses in multiple cases, including mass murders, mass shootings?
There have been numerous mass shootings, including in Buffalo, New York, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, El Paso, Texas, and many others, where the writings and work of the people who have committed those heinous crimes reflected that they adhered to the Great Replacement Theory as an ideology.
Here we go again with the freaking great. By the way, we were chatting this morning. Someone in the chat, can you help me here? When did it go from the replacement theory hoax? And by the way, replacement theory is not a hoax. It's the Democrats' thing. What's a hoax is that this is some Republican plot. I hate the word literally. I can't. Don't say it. It's their plot. Oh, come on. There we go again. Folks in the chat, tee it up. Here's Michelle Goldberg, New York Times. This is an actual headline. We can replace them. This is the New York Times. And we're empty. Justin said it right. We have an evergreen folder of stuff we use. Lip tack, Michelle Goldberg. We're emptying the whole. It's all out there today. This is the New York Times. This is not the Daily Wire. They talk about replacing. I'll get to find people in a second. That's an easy one. The Democrats, when did they go from replacement theory to great replacement? All of a sudden, they put these superlatives on it and great, the modifiers. It's their thing. Here we go again. Mudley's in the chat for these goofballs. Hat tip Grabian. Here's a minute. But folks, we could play this this clip is 20 minutes long. 20 minutes. We're not going to play it for 20 minutes. Don't worry. This opens with Chuck Schumer, just like Jayapal, again bullshitting people, claiming that Republicans have some great replacement theory. It's their thing. How they're going to replace all of us. Here are the Democrats in their own words, telling you all how they're going to replace you while claiming you all are inventing a replacement theory to replace them. It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. In their own words. Check this out.
It seems harder and harder to ignore that the echoes of replacement theory and other racially motivated views are increasingly coming out into the open.
African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop.
In a few years, we're going to be a majority brown country. White people will not be the majority in the country anymore.
In 2044, everyone is going to be a minority.
Folks like me who are Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority.
As the demographics change, as white people become the minority in the country, which is coming.
Demographics is destiny.
Demographics is destiny. Demographics is destiny, right? The country is changing.
An unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Non-stop.
This is their words. It's their words. That's not AI generated. It's their words. At what point do you guys wake up and cut the bullshit? The answer is never. Because there's no reason for them to stop lying. Because their base wants to be lied to. Just like this subset of MAGA saboteurs in our tent who are not MAGA love to be lied to too. There is nothing you can say to them to drag them away from bullshit. They sniff the bullshit. They love the bullshit. They're like, man, this is so aromatic. It smells so lovely. I should use it as potpourri in my house. You can't drag people who want to be lied to away from lies. It's like moths to a freaking flame. It's like metal to a magnet. They want to be, I don't know why they want to be lied to. I really don't. I'm not going to do the education citing thing. What does psychology say? I don't know. Is it affirming their priors? Is it just their worldview would be so shook? I don't know. All I can think of is when I took undercover class in the Secret Service Academy with these great DEA guys. And they said, don't ever arrest a bad guy if you're the undercover. He's known you for 6 months to be part of his biker gang. He is never going to process that you're a cop. ever. He's going to go crazy. He's not going to believe. That has to be it. That you've just so baked into your brain about what happened with this thing today, with the Epstein thing, or what happened. You've so baked into your brain what's happening with rich people getting over on you on taxes, that black people are being mowed down, unarmed black people every day, that millionaire taxes work, that when you're confronted with that voter integrity is like a big thing on the left, that replacement theory is a Republican thing, that it's really hard to shake you from the, because you don't want to be told that guy's a cop. Like, that's the truth. You just can't do it. She repeats the fine people hoax again. That magically Donald Trump called a bunch of white nationalists fine people. How many times we got to play this? The answer is it's apparently never enough. This is what's called evidence, Charles Blow. Maybe you'll report on this too. Replacement theory is a Democrat thing. They talk about it all the time. Great, not great, I don't care. Here's Donald Trump's actual words about Charlottesville. And he says the freaking opposite. Read it or listen and weep, libs. This is just the facts. Check this out.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally, condemned totally, condemned totally, condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? Condemned totally.
I could play condemned totally on loop 20 or 30 times. It's not going to matter. Now, fairly enough, you may be saying on the other end of this. So, Dan, if it's a time for choosing and there's an election coming up that's critical, if you want to maintain this Donald Trump agenda going forward, which I do, why bother? If these people love the bullshit and they don't want to be told the undercover's a cop, they can't, it'll shake their worldview, then why bother? I've answered this many times on the show, but some of you may be new here. My experience running for office and as an activist is there's always a third person listening. I'm not going to tell them, the Maryland State Fair story again, but I've seen this over and over. You can argue with a liberal all day. School choice, healthcare, they're not going to listen. They don't care. They want to be lied to. They enjoy being lied to. They believe you're really part of their biker gang, okay? They don't want to be told the truth. But I promise you, there is a third-party impressionable person or persons listening that when they see the back and forth and see the fine people hoax debunked, the great replacement theory, that it's a Republican thing debunked, I promise you they'll come around. I promise. You just have to keep going. It's like marketing. You hear about a product one or two times, it's not going to register. People just don't remember. I see this commercial on Fox all the time about these hand radios. I'm always like, man, I got to get me one of those hand radios. But I forget. You're brushing your teeth, whatever. You just don't have time. You got to see it like 7 to 10 times before you go. Politics is no different. The human brain is the same if you're buying a product or if you're aligning with a political movement. You've got to be told over and over why said movement or said product is good for you and works out in your life. You don't have a choice. You have to hammer and hammer and hammer. Meanwhile, things are happening on the right. You're told by the nothing is happening crowd. You see the CBS story? Finally, like the Trump administration's correcting all the Biden overreaches on immigration, plans to announce it's seeking to revoke the citizenships of U.S. citizens accused of immigration fraud, expanding its unprecedented denaturalization campaign. Folks, denaturalizing U.S. citizens is not common, but it should be. You come here and commit fraud, you get convicted of terrorism, your citizenship should be gone like that. This isn't even controversial. But again, this is finally happening too. You'd be stunned how few cases of this happened even under Republican administrations in the past. The nothing is happening people, again, don't want to be told the truth. Ever. I've got a couple of cool news updates for you. I want to, by the way, applaud the Secret Service for their security around Madison Square Garden. It was tight, but I did not see it as oppressive. Now, granted, I had my own security team with me, but I went through the checkpoints like everyone else, folks. I did not, get to fly in, and I got wanded down with the, handheld magnetometers and everything. It was, there were some lines. There were a lot of people to get in there, but I thought the effort was pretty amazing. And I had said to you in the past that I really think the Secret Service should implement this program to streamline and basically mainline people right onto the Secret Service SWAT team known as CAT, Counter Assault Team. The CAT team is going to be the one, if God forbid there's a massive organized attack on, not a lone gunman, massive organized attack on the president, which could happen. CAT's going to be the one that's going to provide the cover fire while the shift evacuates the president, covers him and evacuates, okay? We need the best of the best. The pipeline to CAT was just way off before Director Curran got in. You had to take years, and it was just crazy. And there were short bodies a lot. So I said it'd be a good idea to just get people right from. I'd take a 50-year-old Green Beret in a heartbeat on the CAT team. These guys are good till they're like 70. Even then, they're still good. So I saw this pop up in the Secret Service. Oh, look what they did it. They already did it. Secret Service Counter Assault Team, targeted recruitment program. They have now, quote, an accelerated career track to CAT. You can look this up on the Secret Service website. And look at that. 33 weeks of special agent training, Army's CAT. And some of the requirements are served in a special weapons team, special operator, LA SWAT, New York PD ESU, Miami SWAT, whatever. Great idea. So yes, stuff is happening over there too. I was very, very happy to see that. I swear to you, I'll take a 50-year-old SEAL Team 2 guy in a heartbeat over some of these, younger, like out of shape guys who don't get it. These guys are more than, they're the best of the best. They do not lose it at 50. Maybe you're a little bit slower, not as strong, but these guys are good to go. So that's another piece of good news. I saw that this week. So hat tip Director Curran on that. And finally, I want to leave you with a Make America Funny Again moment. This one, however, involves me. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. This one involves me. So I'm in the hotel room up in New York, getting ready to, get through the 20 checkpoints to get into the garden, okay? And I had X open, and X will auto-scroll videos, kind of like TikTok. I don't know, maybe I have a set. So I had just started scrolling, and a bunch of stuff was playing, but I got to tell you, I wasn't really paying attention. Then I'm sitting there, and I'm walking out. I'm changing a shirt. President Trump was going to be there, so I want to put a collar on, not look like a slob, And I hear this voice in the background. And I'm thinking to myself, now I need audience before I go. Get ready in the chat. Folks in the chat, don't go anywhere. I need your help here. There's a big disagreement that erupted in the studio. Andy threatened to quit over it. I was like, bro, you've been here like 6 months. You quit already? He's like, got his papers. He's ready to. I'm like, dude, they think this sounds nothing like me. So does Paula. I think it sounds exactly like me because as I was changing my shirt, I'm like, why am I on a clip with, is it Paramount Tactical? This guy, another great guy. I'm like, why am I on a clip asking a guy about his guns? It wasn't me. It was the legend, Ami Kozak, who does some of the best impressions you've ever seen. It was him imitating yours truly, Dan Bongino. So I think this sounds exactly like me. However, Andy threatened to quit over it otherwise. Can we have Ami on? Can you get him on the show, please? I think this sounds exactly. So audience, you tell me. Does it sound like Dan? Put a yes. If it doesn't sound like Dan, put a no. He says it was just quick on the spot, but check this out.
Oh, and by the way, do you have a Dan Bongino impression? Because if you don't, you need to get one real quick.
I think I do.
Oh.
I think I do. I just watching that. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, what's Gary doing? How many guns does he have? How many does he need? Got a rifle behind you, tough guy? Huh? Think you're a tough guy? How's that? Just literally right off, hot off the press. Never.
Gary's awesome too, by the way. Come on, and yes, yeah. This is wow. A lot of yeses, no, some no. Man, where's Bongino when you need him? Bongino, is he not around anymore? If something happened, Bongino, I'm sorry to the Bongino family. My condolences. I don't know how. We need a new Bongino. Gee, can't you get an AI agent to queue up the chat? This is really breaking down. I think this is going to be no. The no's are really firm. There's a lot of no's, but there's a lot of the no's are firm and the yeses are getting a lot of Mudley's in the chat in honor of the great Joe Armico. Joe would have told us. Joe been listening to me forever. We love you, Joe. God rest your soul. I think it sounds like, I'm telling you, I turned around thinking I never did an interview with Gary. I don't remember that. And the Gary's Guns thing, I love Gary's Guns. They're the best. This is great. Andy's like, I pull my resignation papers. And we're going to see what the chat says. We'll try to give you somewhat of a tally tomorrow because our chat is so big. We can't count every single vote. But I'd ask you to try to work on an AI agent. I really want to see where this goes. All right, folks. Thanks again for tuning in. I will be back the rest of the week. Of course, again, I will only be out this coming Monday. I have an event. I can't make it. I like to do a live show. To tape an hour is no big deal, but I like to be here live with you because of moments like this. So that's why. But it will be here the rest of the week, the rest of next week, Tuesday through Friday. And I'll try to give you more of a heads up in the future when I have days off because I really don't like it when people go there at 10 o'clock and are disappointed. I don't like it. I feel like it's my fault. I'm going to be here with you. I need to be here with you. I got Haley coming up at noon, rumble.com/Haley. Oh, most importantly, I got a ton of questions about the shirt. This shirt is really popular. People were emailing us 250 years of freedom, liberty, and kicking ass. This is the first Dan Bongino original. Pretty much every idea comes from the great Paula. It's available at store.bongino.com. If you want one, if you don't, cool too. Store.bongino.com for the shirt. Haley coming up at noon. Vince every day. I'll be on his radio show today, by the way, at 1 p.m. Eastern. Rumble.com/Vince at 8 a.m. every day. And make sure to download the Rumble app. It is free. We love Rumble. Or go to rumble.com/Bongino. Click that follow button. We love having you here for the live show every single day. I will see you back here tomorrow.
I'm Haley Caradia,
Host of Vince.
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report.
live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
Right here
and anywhere you find podcasts. Thanks for watching.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.